So in order for God to give us our blessing, in order for God to give you your blessing, see, God has to show you your lower self in order for you to know your true higher self. But see, if God give you your blessing too soon, then God give you that blessing too soon. So God has to make sure you learn the lesson. See, God has to make sure you understand that certain people don't understand your value, and you're not going to understand that until you understand what God understands about your value. See, everybody else sees something within us, but the question is, do we see it? And even if we do see it, to what extent? What extent do you realize that other people realize your greatness or your genius energy? Let me see. What extent? To what extent? The North Node is the top of the tree of life from what I've been studying. That's why I asked. Oh, okay. Okay, I see you into the tree of life. Hey. So like the tree of life. So the tree of life, it relates to many different dimensions and how everything came into being. So from the oneness, everything came about from the oneness. So let me show you. I think I got a picture, right? I got a picture. I think I got a picture. Well, no, I ain't gonna show that picture. It's too much for the internet, right? So in other words, there's higher dimensional gods that manifested us. So in ancient texts and ancient teachings, they knew about the other worlds. They knew about the other dimensions. And that's why you have the tree of life, or you have the Kabbalah, or you have what they call the Sephra or something like that, right? But when you're dealing with the tree of life, you're talking about the oneness, how it manifested itself, and it came into existence through the 2 and through the 3, and also through the 4. So when you understand the significance of the 1, the 2, and the 3, and the 4, and that's really magic. You know, just understanding the spiritual significance of these numbers. Even as 13, they say 13 people watching, right? The spiritual essence of the number 13 is African. So when you're talking about why do you see signs? Why do you see numbers? Why do you have so many different magical signs? What is life trying to show you? What is life trying to teach you? Life is trying to get you to ascend. Life is trying to get you to break a recycling loop of time. But time keeps you trapped. So long as you dwell within time, you can stay trapped within the past. So you exist as multiple different sets of memories. Now, every single day, you can wake up and select high vibrational thoughts or high vibrational memories from the past. Because, see, the past is a point of reference. See, you use the past in order to manipulate and alter the future, in order to be in reality and to change the future. So the brain perceives reality based upon our expectations, and our expectations are based upon what we believe about ourselves, and what you believe about yourself is based upon the neurological networks you activated or didn't activate. So you have multiple different versions of you. So being around different people can bring out a different part of your neurological activity. So you can be more mentally active around certain people than other people. So you have to learn how to release lower frequencies, lower dimensions, so you can tap into this higher dimension. Because, see, God is about to elevate your life. But the only way God can elevate your life is if you understand that you are it. See, God didn't create nothing out of itself that wasn't itself. So when God created everything out of itself, it expanded itself all into itself to experience itself. So your life experience is an experiment. So higher dimensional sciences or teachings, African teachings, is that good and evil, it exists, but then again it doesn't exist. There's no right, there's no wrong, but then again it is, but it isn't. But it's understanding disorder and order and the purpose of order. We're born into disorder. So telling a person, you know, negativity is not negativity, it helps them, but then again it works against them. Because if you don't understand that it's nothing, I mean nothing in a universe, that's a mistake. Because everything that's taking place in the physical is already taking place in the heavens. So everything that you're experiencing here up on earth, because this is the lowest realm. And when you look at the ancient teachings, or even when you're dealing with masonry, or you're dealing with advanced science, right? They speak about this world, but within this world, you have to transcend this world. Because if not, you get stuck within a recycling loop of time. And our ancestors, they was in time, but they was able to transcend space and time. You have to be able to transcend space and time. And that's the key. That's really just the key. Just transcending space and time. And the only way you can be in or the only way you can be in reality is by elevating past space and time. But the key is this: understanding that on a super spiritual level, time don't exist, space don't exist, and your prayers, your visions, your thoughts don't have to travel. They don't have to travel. See, there's an infinite invisible field. So you're downloading your intent into this field. So it's sort of like if it's this universal field of energy. Let's say we're underwater and we don't know it, right? But when you stick your head up, then that's when God can see you. So when you set your intent and you send your intent out into the atmosphere, it appears that it travels. It appears that you travel from one part of the room to the other part of the room, but that's an illusion. You know, even the fact that you think you have a brain or a body is an illusion. But that's just super spiritual. I'm gonna say that for my class or for my clients, you know. But and so in other words, let me put it this way. You was brought into being in order to realize that you forgot yourself, but you have to return back into your higher self. See, it's just like this, for example. You know who you are, you know you're confident, you know you're strong, you know you're unique, you know you're special, you know you're magical, but then you can be around somebody else with lower mental activity and they don't stimulate your high vibrational mental activity. So the moment you focus on their reality is the moment that you shift to their dimension. So just from being around certain people can bring out a lower side of you. It can bring out the worst side of you. It can even drain you. Consciously, but also subconsciously, you're always being influenced by the energies of others. So eagles don't fly with pigeons. You hang around 6 broke people, you'll become a 7. You hang around 6 dumb people, you'll become a 7. You hang around 6 bosses, 6 masterminds, you'll become a 7. Eagles don't fly with pigeons. And then I'm going to tell you another thing. Eagles, they fly so high, they fly towards the sun, they fly above the clouds. So even when it rains, you have to know how to weather the storm. And when you weather the storm, then you say, hey, I am the ruler. I am the master of my frequency. I am the master of my reality. But I create the rules within my reality. See, the thing is this. You cannot bend reality if your rules only exist within the rules of somebody else's reality. Because you're still thinking about your thoughts through the thoughts of someone else's. Or you're still thinking or striving to find yourself within limitation. So you can never find yourself within somebody else's box. You can never find yourself like even me just making this video, for example, is complicated because it's a combination between just speaking regularly, like I'm not looking at the camera, between that and also paying attention that people are watching me. But then I can be here, I can be making a video like nobody watching me. But then again, I have to be conscious. So sometimes we can be so much in our head that we're not in reality. And sometimes we can be so much in a reality that we're not in our head. So sometimes you can get caught up in other people's thoughts or energy or reality or whatever because you're living from the outside in. So you're caught up in their world. So even if you're constantly taking in information from other people, you can be living in their world. Make sure it's a healthy world. Make sure it's worth it. Because when you pay attention, remember, you buy the experience. So you pay attention. Attention. I-O-N, ions. You pay attention. So you're paying your charge. You're paying your energy. You're giving them your energy. The moment you focus, if you focus on somebody that's intelligent, you're giving your energy to something intelligent. That's an investment. So is it an asset or a liability? Is it taken away from your time? Is it taken away from your self-esteem? Is it taken away from your productivity? Is it taken away from your magic? Is it taken away from your cleverness, your smoothness, or whatever? Is it taken away from you experiencing a greater you? And then, let me see. And look, it's most definitely spirit. Because I'm gonna tell y'all another thing. You can be one of the most spiritual persons that you know in your environment. You can be one of the most spiritual women or one of the most spiritual men that you know within your family or that you know within your environment. You can meet a lot of other spiritual people, but you still find yourself to be the one. Because you are the one. but you got to realize it. Because if you don't realize it, you can't look around and expect the world to honor you if you haven't even went all the way in for you. Because God been saying, like, there's some things that you know you need to still accomplish. There's some things you need to let go. You know you need to let go. There's been too much energy spent doubting yourself, living on a low vibrational wavelength, but your energy is so high. How could you even torture yourself? That's what God is saying. God is saying, shit, I've been trying to bless you all week, but you've been thinking that you've been going through what you've been thinking you've been going through. So when you believe in your thinking, then you think you've been going through things that only exist within your thinking. Because it's all mental. It's all perception. So it's not about what happens, because you define the situation. The situation don't define itself. It don't define you. It don't, most definitely don't define me. But the point is this. It's not about what happens. How do you choose to perceive yourself in the midst of what happens that makes all the difference of what happened? So it's not about what happened. It's about who is it happening to. That makes all the difference. Because remember, if you think big of the situation, then you think small of yourself. But if you think big of yourself, then you think small of the situation. Because really, honestly, the situation is small, but you have to upgrade your point of view of yourself. See, God has been introducing you to many different new layers of yourself for a reason. But it's a new season, so you have to leave the old in the past. You meet a lot of people. Do you know how many? It's billions and billions and billions of people on the planet right now in this second that you never consider, and you never ever considered, and you never will consider. So why is it that we take something that took place 5 days ago, 5 months ago, 5 weeks ago, and we allow it to extend the 5 weeks later, or a week later, or 5 hours later? Like, don't take that 5 seconds and make it 5 hours. Don't take that 5 hours and make it 5 months, 5 weeks. Like, there's a lot of people you don't even know exist. So think about how many people within your life that exist but don't exist. Because when you're focused on your greatness, they don't exist. When you're focused on that book, they don't exist. When you counting your money, they don't exist. When you doing whatever you got to do for you and your kids, or you and yours, or you and yourself, they don't exist. The only time they exist is when you stop doing for yourself by focusing on them. And when you get to focusing on them, then you start to feel like a part of you that's not even really you. But it's their energy incorporated within your energy, and you think it's your energy, but you're really sensing their energy. But you're really realizing your powers. You're so sensitive. You're so quantumly entangled with the person that hasn't let go. Because energetically speaking, until both parties let go, y'all quantumly entangled. And no matter what, you're going to always be entangled, but you're going to be even more entangled. It's just like if you shake a person's hand, now y'all both are exchanging skin cells, right? So the more you're consciously aware of that, then the more you amplify their energy. So it's just like when a person have a disease, but they don't know about it, but the moment they're aware of it, it amplifies it. So we can amplify certain thoughts by even contemplating that, oh, I got to overcome this thought again. Oh, I'm having anxiety again. Oh, I'm feeling uncomfortable again. Oh, there go that recycling loop of that negative past experience or that negative thought resurfacing it again. So we can have this repetitive experience, and we can feel like it's going to consistently be consistent. But really, you have to understand that it was never even there. You could be like, oh yeah, I've been going through this all week. What if you was never going through it, not even a little bit? What if you was never there? Because you have to understand the you that feels comfortable versus the you that feels uncomfortable, they're not the same person. So when you consider who you are, understand who you are. And I think I said that right. and I got to be even more effective with my pronunciation skills. But there are certain skills that we all must develop. We all must. See, one thing the past should have shown you or taught you is that you're better than your past. You're better than a low vibrational route. It's certain things that wasn't even for you. You wasn't even supposed to go through the low dimensional realities that you went through the last year. You supposed to went through it the last years before that growing up. But technically, spiritually speaking, There's no mistakes. Everything is in divine order. And it was already written in the stars that y'all was going to disconnect. Because the disconnect was so that you can reconnect with yourself. It was already written in the stars. You're trying to force something that is planetary. You can't force togetherness if it's destined in the heavens to be a separation. Because even within a separation, there's still a connection, but it's not that same level of connection. So you're trying to get the same connection, but that connection only existed because of the disconnection that was bound to happen. So the connection was only based around a route that was meant to be disconnected. So if you're trying to get that connection back, then you're trying to get a disconnection back, because that's all that's going to take place again. Y'all gonna reconnect and y'all gonna disconnect until you really, really become a new person, a new you, or he become a new him, she become a new her. No matter what it is, you have to truly become a new you. And not because it happened some months ago, and not because you feel somewhat past it, not because you feel this new energy of love and positivity and you just have this new magical experience, not because of that. Don't allow that to fool you, because that's what took place in the past. You don't get it? Y'all really don't get it. See the thing is this. In the past, we thought we was more healed than what we knew. But guess what? You know what happened before that? We thought the same thing. You know what's going to happen again? We're going to think we're healed. Guess what? We're going to realize there's still some shit that we skip past. So the shit we skipping past now is going to catch back up to you. You not taking accountability, it's going to catch back up to you. You not seeing where you went wrong, it's going to catch back up to you. You not considering their point of view, it's going to catch back up to you. Them not considering your point of view, it's going to catch back up to them. But it's not about them more than it is about us. It's about you loving you. The thing is that you've been so used to loving yourself through loving the world around you that you haven't been used to loving the world around you through loving yourself. Woo! Let me say that again. I'm gonna slow down. Let me just hit my bell. Woo! I say to the ancestors, and then let me say this. You've been loving yourself for so long through loving other people, and that's how you've been loving you, through loving other people. But the only true way you can love yourself and love other people is by loving other people through loving yourself. You have to love other people through loving yourself. So when I say love yourself or love other people through loving yourself, that means like, hey, I give you a powerful message. I give you so much love, and you will know it's real. You will know it's genuine. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, I got to go. I'll talk to you later. And whew, and I'm gone. Why? Because I don't have the time to give too much of myself unless it's for myself. It's not personal. So in other words, even if we can have a session. You can book a session for a certain time. I may not show up on that time purposely. I may do it accidentally. But even if I do it accidentally or even purposely, it doesn't make a difference. All is in divine order. I ride a spiritual wave, and I'm not on no one else's frequency for me to meet up at their time. I'm on a higher frequency. If you want the highest version of me, then you want to catch up with my wave. I'm riding my own wave. And it's many people that teach on a certain level. They riding a certain wave, but we riding this wave together because I exist. See, I'm at the center of my universe. Everything revolves around me, but you have your own world and everything revolves around you. See, me highlighting me is only to reflect back to you yourself. Because if I see your greatness only says something about me. If I'm within the presence of your greatness, it says something about me. If we attract each other, it says something about us. Rare people attract rare people. So I want to have a rare experience. I want you to embrace your rarity. I want you to think from a magical point of view. I want us to have a magical conversation. I don't want to have simple conversations. I don't want to talk about things that's not higher dimensional. I don't want to talk to somebody who don't read every day. I don't want to talk to someone who don't acknowledge their ancestors or African science or African magic, because we come from Well, first off, we are the aliens. You know, them talking about the aliens that y'all waiting to see. You're waiting to see yourself. You're waiting to see your grandparents. You're waiting to see your grandmother. You're waiting to see your grandfather. But not your grandmother. You're waiting to see your grandmother's grandmother. Because you have to understand, we've been up on this planet for billions of years, for millions of years. So even before that, we've been on the planet for hundreds of thousands of years and millions of years of only just black African people. So as people, we know how it is to exist on a planet alone by ourselves. Think about a dog, right? It's a dog outside my window. And I think about this dog, and the dog is never bored. Even if the dog seems bored, the dog finds something to do. The dog is always in its own world. But the dog has so many different higher dimensional experiences, because you have to understand the senses of a dog. A dog has heightened senses. So a dog is hearing things that we're not hearing. So what that means is that this dog is showing me it's a perfect representation, because our ancestors knew how to look at nature and study animals in order to predict the future, or in order to see different things about yourself that you may not be realizing consciously. So in order to get past the conscious and to go into the super spiritual conscious, you have to allow your superconscious to reveal different signs to you. In the form of dreams, in the form of signs, in the form of noises, conversations. Everything that you experience around you is showing you something about you. So, when I listen to the dog shows me that the dog is never alone. The dog is existing in so many different worlds, but at the same time, the dog exists within its own world. Yeah, here I come. And see, I got